Hi, statistics. I've had a couple of students ask me about when do we know which formula to use, or if I'm giving a problem, knowing how to start and using a particular formula. So I wanted to share this graphic with you because I think that would help summarize the process that you go through in the problems you've been solving in Chapter 6 to go from percentages to data values and back. So depending upon what they give you in the problem, if they give you a percentage, and it could be a percentage representing an area to the left in our standard normal curve, it could be an area on the high end representing values greater than a particular percentage, or it could be a percentage in between two values. So it could be one of those three cases. In any case, you're starting with a percentage or a probability that is being represented as an area underneath our standard normal curve. Well, to go to a data value, there's this in-between step of the z-score. So if they give me a percentage, I'm going to use my z-score chart to find my z-score, and then I'm going to use that z-score to get to the data value. So that's kind of like the arrows that we see here going to the right. I have that in-between step of the z-score in order to get to my data value. But my problem could work the other way. I could be given a data value and I want my answer to be the percentage related to that data value. So in that instance, I'm going to go the opposite direction. I'm going to start with a data value and I'm going to work by first calculating my z-score, then using my chart to determine the percentage. So that's essentially the order in which we would use the percentage of z-score in our data value. So let's look at a couple problems and we can see which order we would go through. So this particular problem, it's problem 8 from homework 6.2. We can see that they gave us a percentage, right? They want to know the first quartile, which is the 25%, or the lower 25% of my data. So if I go back to the graphic we have here, they gave me this. Right? I'm looking at the lower 25%, and I ultimately want to come out with a data value. So I'm working from the left to the right in our graphic that we have here. So I would look up the 25% in my z-chart to determine my z-score, and then I would use this formula to determine my data value. Let's look at another problem. Oops. Let me pick a different one here. Okay, this is problem 9 from homework 6.2. So we can see that they gave me the mean and standard deviation, and they want to know the percentage of people that fall between 58 and 80. So going back to our graphic, they gave me the percentage in between two numbers. So we're talking about essentially this bottom picture here. So I know the percentage between the two values. So I'm going to use my chart to find, in this case, the two z-scores that represent the lower cutoff and the upper cutoff in our area in between. And then I'm going to use our formula to figure out each of those data values and what those z-scores represent as a data value. So again, we're going kind of from the left side, the percentage, and then working towards the right of a data value. Okay, let's look at another homework problem. Okay, this is problem 10 from homework 6.2. So here they give us the mean and standard deviation for men and women, and they want us to find the percentage that meet a particular height requirement. So in this instance, we get to finally go the other way in our graphic. So they gave us two data values. So here they gave us the data value. Or actually two of them in this instance, to represent an upper and lower value. We're going to calculate the two z-scores for those given data values, and we'll use the chart to find the percentage to create essentially what this scenario is. Right? What percentage falls in between those two data values. Let's look at another homework problem. Oops, we saw this one. All right, here you go. Problem 11 from homework 6.2. So here we know our mean and standard deviation, and it gave us a data value 100.6, and they want us to find a percentage. So going back to our graphic, they gave us a data value. We're going to turn that data value into a z-score, then use our chart to figure out our percentage. And in this case, because we're looking at exceptionally high values, it would be the picture like what we see here, where we're looking at a right-hand tail in our percentage. Okay, and here's problem 12. So problem 12 from homework 6.2, they give us mean and standard deviation, and they give us a data value of 309, and they want us to find a probability. So going back to our graphic, we can see that we're going from a data value and working towards the left for percentage. So I'm going to go from data value to a z-score, use my chart to then look up a percentage. So hopefully this graphic gives you guys a sense of the flow that we're going through and how we go from a percentage or probability to a data value or back.